Marie?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. So let's introduce ourselves with Explorer first, or Estim.ai in English, if you prefer. So we offer services in AI, so custom solution in AI and software development as well since 2019, with more than 45 specialists diversified in different expertise in AI, computer vision, text, LLM, data science. Um, we develop application as well, web app with more than 150 projects. And over the last few years, we mainly focused within the industry of manufacturing and construction as well. So, and we observed the recurring problem that you have with estimation. So that's what we're gonna talk about with Estimate today. And about Benoit and I, so Benoit Carl is the Business Development Director of Estimate, commercializing the tool within Quebec, but also Canada and eventually international. And I'm Marie Gallagher. No, I'm not the sister of Brendan Gallagher from the house.
Cousin. Okay. Kidding, kidding.
Sorry?
I said cousin, but I was kidding. Sorry, Marie. Go ahead.
Cousin, yeah. Icebreaker always for me. So I'm an AI business solutions manager with Explorer, and with Estimé, I'm in charge of all the partnerships, and also so we develop the tools with different trades and also through partnership. We're gonna discuss about it, but and we also have Gaetan, who is not on the call. We have a huge team of for the development of the tool. So Matthias and Gaeta are the leaders of the development of the tool. So a big team, I think 15 experts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Marie. Just as a note, there's already a question or hand raise. So I see, Benjamin, that you have your hand raised. There's a Q&R section. So Marie will be monitoring the questions. Marie, feel free to stop me at any time within the presentation if you think that the flow is okay for that questions. If not, we'll answer questions at the end. The recording will be made available. And I'm going to jump in the tool. The tool today, we're going to do two different plans, right, to show you two different aspects of the tool. One more is a bit more manual because legends are not always perfect or 100% identical to what we see into the drawings. So we'll get into that in a second. So first, just want to tell you, we received an award a few weeks ago. As you can see, I was in Moncton, and I was at the meat show. So a mechanical, electronic, and technology show. And the Electro Federation of Canada gave us the Innovation Award for the solution Estim.ai. So I'm just gonna quickly go into. So do you guys still see my screen here?
We do.
Okay, perfect. So just gonna quickly close this. So as I mentioned, we're going to do two different projects today. On electrical, we'll talk about the other trades. But before we go and do that, we're curious to know where you're from. Which provinces are you from? So if you don't mind answering our little quiz, be happy to know where you guys are from. As expected, majority is from Ontario. But we also have some representative from Alberta, British Columbia. So, and almost 40 of you on the call. So thank you for being with us. We really appreciate you spending the time with us. So thank you, Marie, for doing this. So let's go and jump into the tool. So I'm going to do, as soon as you wrote a name within the tool, you can create the projects. And once you have done that, you can upload your drawings or your technical specs. We'll focus on the drawings for today. So that's one project that I want to do. And as you can see, you can have multiple projects running at once. You can launch webinar number 2. And I'm going to create another project, and I'm going to add another document from here and save. So you're going to see there's some process that are running. So I'm going to go back to the first project. And I'm going to go back and forth here between the two projects to show you multiple tools and how you can use the different processes within the tool to get to the end, which is to do a takeoff, but beyond the takeoff, to do your full quote and estimation. If you are able to launch the products from your catalog, you will be able to get pricing on the different components of your plans. It could be the linear pricing for the wires you'd be installing within the job, and also have the information regarding the labor time and the costs associated to that. So today we're going to focus a little more on the takeoff part, but this is also available within the tool, and you'll receive information about how to contact us if you have any more questions. You want to go in more in depth, we'll be more than happy to assist you. So the text here, oh, actually I have a legend. So I'm going to do quickly something here and do technical specification and use the same document. So since there's a specs within the same document, I will be able to launch within a minute different processes that will help us to go and get information from this page here. But it could also work on a multi hundred pages, like 4, 5, 600 pages. The tool can assist you in doing the analysis for you. We have a default configuration that is done for that, but we can also help you, and it's also editable by you. You can modify the different categories and for what you want to launch, and you can create categories also for this aspect. So again, I'm going to go quickly here, and I'm going to start my first process here. I have the lighting schedule. So I'm going to do a table process. So I'm going to do a square around this schedule. I'm going to use the lighting category that give me access to different processes. In this case, I'm going to launch a table process. I'm going to do that a few times because I have more than one lighting, and I want to have all of this information within the tool. And table process. Here we go. And I'm going to do a different process here where I'm going to do a legend process. I'm going to explain the difference in a second. So those are my power outlets, and I'm going to do a legend process. So both of these processes will create my bill of materials, my BOM, right? Everything that I need to do to count properly the job. The difference for the legend is each of these products will be associated with an image, a symbol, where at the table process, the identifier or the code will be alphanumerical, so the letters and numbers. And for us, it's not going to be the same tool that's going to go and fetch within the drawings all of these components so you can do your takeoff within a few minutes. Okay, so now that this is done, I can follow my process. I'm just going to do a quick, and this is a not new, but we still need to work on translating these processes. But I'm just going to do 4 little quick section. If I add a multiple document, like my multi-hundred pages of a technical specs, I could be selecting my section. But for the time being, I'm just going to go ahead and use this AI process. I'm going to let this process work. I can follow this from another project. That's another problem. I'm going to go for a different plan here, which is a school. And I'm going to show the difference here. The drawing is in French in this case, but the idea remains the same. The process remains the same. So I'm going to do a table. So as you can see, the tables on the other process are done. on the other project. And I'm going to do the same thing here, lighting and table process. And I'm going to do the same thing here, right? Just going to adjust it quickly. And I'm going to do power outlets to give me access to different processes. And this time it's a legend process. I'll let this run go, and I'm going to go back to my other project. As you saw, the table process were done. And let's go back to legend here. So we did detect and upload all of the information within the table, right, that you see here within the tool. Okay, this is already done. Another aspect of or a difference, right? You see here, we've done the legend detection, right? And on this legend detection, there's always a bit of validation before we launch the detection within the plan. In this occasion, uh, I'll show you. I will launch a detection for these power outlets, but I've tried this plan before, and since the image are not identical, and I'll show you the difference in a minute, the detection is not on par using a automated process or a bunch process to launch the detection. But I'll explain in a few minutes how manually I can do and avoid that problem, because it's a recurrent problem, right? The legend is very generic, and sometimes they'll use a similar image inside the drawings, but it's not going to be 100% identical. So it's going to be a challenge trying to do a batch process. So we're going to do a bit of a manual process. The idea is to show you how we work within different plans. That's why we do 2 plans today. So everything that I've launched so far is done. So as I said, I'm going to launch my, even the technical specification analysis is done. So I'm going to do detect. I'm going to pick power outlet. And to show you the process, and I'm going to do detect icons. I'm going to launch this. I know it won't be any results or very few, but I'll show you how to work around this. And then I'm going to go back to the other project to do the same thing because the legend was done. Sorry if it goes a little fast. I try to show as much as I can. I'm going to take a sip in a second, and I'll ask Marie to launch another question. But I just want to launch the other detection. So validate first that my image were captured. Go to detect mode, power outlets, and then I'm going to do detect icons. So the tool will actually launch the detection for all of these images. So now we'd like to know which trade of the construction are you in? So are we talking to mainly electrical, HVAC, interior system? It could be general contractor. It's important for us to understand where you are. And at the end of the presentation, we'll show you the roadmap, because the idea for this product is to support a general contractor. So having all of the trades developed, and we already have a few already so far. So there's a few upcoming webinars that will be addressing other trades. So meanwhile, I'm just going to do quickly junction box. Oh, okay. Going to explain what I'm doing in a second. I'm going to do the same thing in the other projects. I'm going to go back to the first one. So thank you, Marie. You can stop the inquiry. No need to show on this time. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the first project, and I'm gonna just repeat what I've done. Basically, you saw there's a catalog, so you could do the launch within the catalog, and I'll show you a few different aspects of it. But for the time being, I'm just gonna do a manual junction box coming from my catalog, for which I could have already pre-programmed the cost and also the labor time if there was a need to do. And I'm going to do the same thing for wiring, and you'll understand in a few minutes why I want to do that. Uh, Back to manual here, cable, and I'm going to do a standard 14.2 wire. Okay, so once I've launched all my detections or yeah, all the detections within the drawings, I need to go into the annotation system section of the tool, and then I can find within the tool where there's a page here, all the detection that were done. So all the yellow that you see are all the lighting, right? This is a lighting. This is a lighting emergency. That's why I did not launch this for a matter of time, but I went for all the schedule of lighting. And the idea here is we hope to achieve 90% plus of detection, and for the estimator to come and validate the tool. This is very important for us. The tool that we have developed is no black box that you put your drawings in, you go for a coffee and come back and the job is done. That's not what we have done. What we have done is something to accelerate the task of takeoff, right? So the estimator is still there to drive the process and then to validate the process. There is value for an estimator to come within the tool and to add. If there are any missing lighting that was not properly addressed by the tool. I'll show you how to add. There's a little bit of less success within the power outlets, and this is emergency. So far it looks so good. It looks good on what the detection was done, and I think there's another like so. As you saw, I launched my a few process already, right? Just as a recap, I launched the legend process. I validated that process, and then I launched my detect icons for those image that was created within the legend process. On the table process, there's no need for validation. Okay, the validation um, uh, for the identifier is not necessary. So we do the two steps at once. So we create the bill of material. We take all of this information coming from the schedule. And then at the same time, we launch the detection. So it's not a two-step process. It's really one-step process. Perfect. So now back to here. Okay. So as I mentioned, the, I'll show back to the original legend, but here the symbols are much more bold, if I can say, use that expression, than what we had in the legend. So there's a an important difference for us for not to be able to detect. Uh, right? You saw the lines are much thinner here than what was in the drawing. So, and it's something that happens a lot, right? Where the legend is a bit different, somewhat similar, but not identical to what we see in the drawing. So how do we address this? So I'm going to do a few manual process here, right? So I'm going to come here, try to find a somewhat of a clean image, right? So I'm going to use this one here. I'm going to do a quick box, manual box. And I'm going to use, sorry, I'm not in the right section. To create this, I need to be in legend selection. As I mentioned earlier, all my prompting needs to be in that section. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go manual, power outlet, uh, power outlet. So I can either select from a catalog, so for a part. So sometimes you don't want to use the legend because in the catalog you have more information, so you know which part you want to install. So it could be a 15 amp lumen product, and then you can create this project. Okay, so I'm going to use this one. I'm going to do the same here for this one. Right. So manual power outlet. In this case, I'm going to call it P1. P1. Create the product. And there's, I think, there's another one here. Right. And I can use my zoom to make a better job here. So manual power outlet. So, and I'm going to go, and not from the catalog, I'm just going to call it P2. P2, create the product. I think there's one last that I want to create. If I recall, there's one with a darker symbol inside, probably on a different page, right here, right here. Oops, big of a box. And I'm going to call this one P3. Manual power outlet and P3. Create product. So I have 4 products within this page. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into detect mode. Okay, I'm going to take my multi-selector here just to go and select the 4. So I have the 4 that have been created, and I'm going to launch detect icons. Okay, so I'm going to let the tool work, and we'll be back in just a second within this project. I'm going to go back here to show you here. I've launched also a table process. If I want to see the results here, I need to go back to the legend selection, so you can see that I've taken all of this information, and the same thing with my legend, which I launched a detection now. So let's go back to my lighting floor. So all of the yellow dots that you see here are all of the lighting that were detected within the tool. Right, so, and these are the numbers, the count actually for all of these that were within this tool. And I could I'm just going to show you, you can see you can have multiple information that you can put. It could be already programmed within your catalog. Just one key feature that I can show you, just if I was to select all of these here, and I could said this is floor 1. It could be type A unit. And, oh, sorry, floor 1, type A. And it could be a multiplier where my type A unit, I can find this 4 times within my drawing. Sometimes you'll have this is typical for unit 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they're not going to repeat it. So you need to have that function. By saving this, I now have multiply all of these for the time being. And now go back to the power outlets. So the power outlets here, so we have detected 39, another 30 here, 70. So there's probably 220 outlets that were detected within the tool, but there we're somewhat around 90%, 85 to 90%. So you see here, this one is not added, so I can just come here, and by selecting this here, I can just come and add one, right? And as a limitation of the tool, I have there are some lighting that were called D, M, H, right? So you see all of these letters were found by the tool. So I can use my filters in this case to come and just select my lighting category. And by doing so, I can easily come and just clean the entire page, remove this because this is a service and not a lighting. schedule. So, and then I'm going to remove my filter. Then I have back to my power outlets. Okay. So just to show you also that, we can launch a bunch detection when it's the same image that you find within the tool as you can find within the legend, within the drawings. So Marie, going to take another sip. What's your role, right? So what's your, we'd like to know who we're talking to. If you don't mind taking a second to tell us what's your role. So are we talking to estimators, to project manager, IT people? So it's important for us to know that we have the right crowd, and so we can tailor our message for the upcoming webinars. Give you another second here. I see some more answers coming. Again, thank you for being there. We really appreciate your time, and also taking the, we see that you're listening because you guys are answering. So Marie, you can stop the survey and maybe show the results so everybody can see. A lot of estimator and owner estimator. So a third of our audience is there, and a lot of project manager as well. That's something somewhat new for us, right? When we do those webinars in French, we don't have as many, so we'll dig into that one. And others, I think I remember from the registration there was a few of our competitors that were registered. So thank you for being there as well. Okay, so back to my first drawing. Now, what I want to show you, there's two things I want to show you, and then we'll go into the question and answer period. So what I want to show you is there's two ways for us currently to do the wiring aspect. So how you get your linear foot of all the wires within the tool. For now, this process is somewhat manual, but you can also, I'll let you determine that. But there's a project for us to automate this process where the AI will come and suggest a path of distribution for the power from the panel. So that's a work in progress. So, and there's a lot of things that I can mention that's coming down the road. This is the beginning of our solution, of our journey, if I want to say so. Bon. So just want to make sure that I've within this drawing also included, yeah, so I've done my junction box. So let's go back here to the lighting. And at the same time, I launch a manual process. You know what? Let's go back here. So you can see now, right? The detection. So I have not launched this symbol, so I'm happy to see that there's no detection there. But for all of the others that we launch on a manual aspect, so it worked pretty well. This is maybe something that I need to add manually. Let's go here. So let's do that process. So that's this one here. So, and I can just stop like this. Okay, so that's just the way to do it. This one was not cut, but I'm pretty sure that's why it was the legend, the first one that I created. So the tool will not use the legend as a count, right? So in this case, I use this image, so I just need to add it just like I've done before. So I'm going to use this page here to do the wiring. So I'm going to show all of these products. I'm going to take one junction box here, and it doesn't really matter where I place it. I think you will get the idea. I'm going to remove my plus. Before I go, I need to make sure I put my plan to scale. Okay, so 316 to 1 foot is 1 to 64. I've done quite a few plan drawings already, so I know this. But if you were to multiply 316 by 64, you would get to a foot. So now this page is on level or on scale, and now what I'll show you the first way to distribute your power or your wires within your plan. So I'm going to go into cable. And if I add my recipe, my ingredients for a recipe created within the catalog, I could multiple select different items, right? Or select multiple items. And so in this case, I could have a conduit, and this conduit needs to be on a support or on a tray, and multiple wires, right? So this is the recipe I want to build between my two junction box. Once I've done this, I can select from where I want to go to where I want to go and create links. So within a second, right, I have this here, and I have about 60 foot and a half, almost and a half of distance between those two junction box. And now my takeoff will include all the three ingredients that I selected before. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Then if I want to finish my circuit, I can actually draw from the junction box, right? And go. Doesn't have to be really that precise, right? It's okay. So as you can see, I've selected from the junction box, I've done this circuit, and now I just need to tell the tool which type of cable have I just done, right? So you saw me at the beginning, I created my 4.2. So what I've done is I incorporated this from my catalog, so I can now use it and use this function. So it could be a different wire for reading. It could be a Cat5, Cat7 for communication, right? So it's the same tool. You just need to tell at the end which wire are you drawing with this tool. So for now, this is the two-way uh, that we do the drawing of the wires until we have something a little more automated where we'll take this information here, 11A, 11A, and use the AI to suggest a path for your wires, and then the estimator will have the flexibility to modify these as we go. Okay, so now I'm going to go into inventory, but I'm going to take another sip. I've been talking a lot. So, Marie, I think what's the next one? What's the next question?
The takeoff tool.
Yeah, so we're curious. Thank you, Maggie, for that. Are you using a solution today to do your takeoff, or it's still manual and you're using your own Excel sheet? So, if you don't mind taking a second, we're always curious to know our audience that comes to attend our webinars. Are they people still on a manual process, and or you're currently using another tool to do this task? And then we'll go into the final of this presentation, which is the inventory part. Thank you for answering. You guys are almost still there, almost still 40 on this call. I really appreciate you being there. We see that more than half have answered, and we still see some more answers. So it's a little more longer to answer that one, so we'll give you another second. I still see them coming, so we'll wait another second. Okay, so thank you, Marie. You can stop this. Okay, so for this last part, before we go into the Q&A section, okay, you see all of these categories, right? And now this is the aggregated number from the different floors, right? Different pages of the plan. The number we saw before on the right end of the tool was for specifically that page. Now what we see is the aggregate numbers for the entire drawings, right? And all of the information that we saw before are now part of this. And when I'm going to do my download, I'm going to have the information that came from the schedule. So that's one first part. So I'm going to just use the view. So the view that you want to export, you need to create this, right? So you could have the length for the wires. I did put notes. I did put a multiplier, and I put information regarding the floor. If I don't do this, and I do my export in Excel, it won't be part of that. It's not a big thing. I mean, you can come back and do another export after you created the view that you want to see. So I'm going to apply this, and I'm going to do aggregated by multiplier and length, material cost, labor hours, all of these that were could have been possible to create, but the idea was to spend around 45 minutes together. So we'll get to that. And then I just need to apply. So back to, oh, I think it was in the other project that I've done this. Yeah, I'm sorry for that, right? But that would be where I see the multiplier, the note and the floor. If I had a specific typical unit, this is where I would see all of this information. Again, I'm sorry, I've not done. It's the first time I do it. One webinar with two projects, so taking notes for the next time. But the length here, for now, it's all in millimeters. But we're a few days away from having your organization settings where you can decide the default setting or the default view for the measure. If you want to see foot and inches, only inches. If you want to stay in metrics, that's possible. You can use meters instead of millimeters. It's really up to you to decide the view and how you want to see. But you remember, I did one drawing of 140. And then all of these other products was between the two junction blocks. So you see the distance in the linear foot of them. And if I had created some cost and linear labor cost as well, it would be all in there. So I did launch also a specific process for the technical aspect, right? So, and again, I'm sorry, it's in French for now, but this is the lighting one. So we see the different, right, different and gestion de commande here, the different products that are required, right? And then you can click on this here to see where this information is coming from. So I'm just going to do this here, and see it's bringing back to all the pages where it find information regarding my lighting products, right, that are required on this job, right? So, and same thing for power equipment. So although you see the description will be done in the language that the document is, for now these things are in the process to be translated. And I think I have specialized outing here, and you see all of these here, and I could click on this and locate within the document. And that's really one thing specific or differentiate ourselves from ChatGPT or Claude if you were to use this feature in other LLM is we always show you where the information is coming. Same thing for the takeoff part where you saw the annotation section where we show you the work, right? We don't just give you an amount. We show you the work where you can see and you can actually train the model, right? Every time you correct the model, this is data that will be used for purposes. So once you're done looking at this, you can download either an Excel. I'm going to do just one quickly here for this project. But back here, we can also generated another drawing with all the annotations, all the wire that you've done. So you can use this tool as well to send the project once you won the job to your project manager on site. So you can see how the estimation was created and done. So you can do that. Very useful tool for those who do design build. Not saying that this tool was meant to be used to generate a plan, but if you have a residential home and you want to generate items and wires within the plan, you can regenerate the drawing with everything that you've done inside this plan. So lastly, I'm just gonna show the Excel and the view. Is there any questions, Marie?
We do, yes.
Okay, perfect. We'll get to that. Do you see an Excel or still see the tool?
Yeah, I see
Yeah,
it.
okay, perfect. So all of these tabs here are all the different categories that you saw. So you remember from the lighting schedule, we brought everything from that was actually in the lighting schedule, and you also have the count, and you could have a little more. And then this is how the technical specs is downloaded. So it's the same document. You can see this is on Sainte Catherine in Montreal, and all of these information coming from the the technical spec aspect of it. So I'm gonna stop my sharing. I understand it was quite a lot of information. I went back and forth between two projects. We're going to do a debrief to see if it was the right way to do it. But the idea was really to show you all the different aspect on how we do with a plan that goes very well for mass detection, and one that it doesn't go as well, that you need a bit of manual process. You will receive the recording of this webinar by email, and also some information on how to get in touch with us if you want to have more information, or even if you want us to try one of your drawing within the tool, be more than happy to do it. So Marie, please go ahead with your questions.
So first question from Carrie, what is the estimated timing for the English version to be available?
Sorry, I don't understand.
So it's already available, basically.
Yeah, so there's a bit of a tweaking that we need to be done. So the first project that I've done was an English drawing. The second one for mass detection, I have a limited amount of English drawing, so I use what I had available for me. But the tool does not make difference between English and French drawings. It's not a problem. And for those categories that are not translated, we're talking days or weeks before it's done. But we're in the process of making sure that this tool is fully bilingual.
Another question, does this software will work to use for sewers, waterman takeoffs?
Sewers. So waterman takeoff. So yeah. So I have not shown the roadmap. I'm going to quickly go into this. I'm sorry, I ran out a bit of time. But as I mentioned at the beginning, the idea of this tool is really to support a general contractor within all the trades, right? So today we shown electricity, but the tool currently work for curtain walls, roofing. We're just about to get there. A residential door and windows, also almost there. So as you can see, we have a big summer in front of us. Exterior cladding, that was the last webinar we've done in French last week. So the functions are there. We're finalizing this. Cabinets, wood framing, this is all coming. So back to plumbing and sewers. Sewers, I think, would be a bit different than plumbing. It's more in French. I think we say mécanique de procédé. Sorry so for that. But as you can see, this is scheduled for the fall time frame. So October for both HVAC and plumbing. That's where the tool will be ready. And for all of those that you see, the tool will be ready within the next few weeks, months, as you can see the schedule here. So back to the question, Marie. Maybe one last.
We're running out of time. Are we gonna answer the questions we didn't answer in this webinar?
Yeah. So for those we don't have time to answer right away, we'll take the time to answer you and send you an email. And also, when you do leave this webinar, there's a survey. So it's important for us to improve ourselves. So it's a quick 2 question. One is a 1 on the 10, and then just to understand the reason of the score. We use this. We do debrief within the team. Marie mentioned like there's 15 developers working full time on this solution, but there's also a admin and sales team that do look at how we do our go to market. So your feedback is very valuable. But if you do have one more, we'll take one more. We see that people are still there. So again, thank you for being with us. Do you have one more, Marie?
Well, about the pricing, maybe, or do you offer trial periods for clients to try the
Yes,
program?
we do offer trial period. Yeah, don't hesitate to contact us to understand about the trial. And the pricing is $500 a month, right? And it goes up to 25 users per license, right? So it's someone's not been a problem so far. The amount of users per license. If you need to go above the 25, we'll be open to discussion. That's not an issue, and it's based on credit use, right? For the $500, we estimate that you can do probably around 30 projects, right? Based on the average of pages that we've seen so far. So it's really by the amount of projects or page that to be analyzed that the credits are used. We'll be more than happy to discuss this in detail and try one of your drawings within the tool on the call. So don't hesitate to contact us and see how we can help you further. So, Marie, thank you for being with me and give me time to drink my glass of water. And for all of you that are still there, thank you very much for your time. Hopefully, you'll take a second to answer the quick survey on your way out. And hopefully, we'll see you on the next webinar. Keep looking at your emails. You'll see an invite. It's probably going to be about exterior coating or maybe interior system. We'll see what's available and what will be the best thing to show you. And also what the attendance was will drive also as well what we'll want to show next. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for being there and hope I'll see you next time.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.